Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we found out that Mikatoba is Sholmes' partner. That was crazy. I didn't even realize the episode ended there, which is weird. Usually ends in a case. So today, let's start the final chapter. It's crazy. It's almost done. Alright, let's go. Final chapter. The resolve of Ryunoske Naruhodo. Okay, we are actually starting off the trial. 3rd of November, 9:14 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendants' Antechamber. Well, so, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Mrs. Sato. Mrs. Sato? Ah! Ah! Oh no! What's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Sato-san isn't her usual self at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective, not to mention... Ah, good morning, sir. Huh? Oh yeah, we're supposed to be defending Lord Van Zeeks. Lord Van Zeeks! Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper, I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than mere legend that led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by the evil killer, Clint's restless spirit remained as some sort of demigod. He wielded a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. Did we? When I lost him. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I had never thought I'd say this, but I could see it in your eyes, a burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, Why do I detect the sense of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Early loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh, That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh. Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened to yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sai's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, but obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you like to take this? Isn't that one of those little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yeah, they're so cool. Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? Looks more like a Hairly to me. If for some reason you're completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. What? You think what we'll need is luck? Did I pull the ear? What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Scholes. You suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are furtively boring into the poor doll's ears. Oh, sorry. I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now? Sure, we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you must really learn stoic patience. But I want to know. What if there's evidence in that ear? There has to be. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seems very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? Strongheart's doing something? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Is Professor Mikotobo all out at night too, do you think, Mrs. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Chikoku, I mean. Judge Chikoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It's very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. You must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks. Lord Van Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Sogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what my destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Oh man, I hope this isn't gonna be like a 8-hour straight trial, no stops. 3rd of November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. Where is everyone? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look! Holy shit! Lord Strongheart! Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jail prank. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. The 6 jurors' flames just, as was the case in yesterday's proceedings. Those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find the most distressing Lord Van Zeeks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent, much like your brother Clint, in fact. Oh man, their voices are so similar. Holy shit. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session for the trial of Barak Van Zeeks, who officially stands accused of murder. And this music. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice, Mr. Daily Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish a credible alibi for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation, because whilst he was engaged as the chief warder of Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He recovered enough to give the signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. Defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed 1 day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Sogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. Huh? It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday. The time of death was 5 p.m. on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in the part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. What? My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will now accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put enormous effort into investigating the precise matter yesterday. Huh? I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. It's Gina. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. Self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina again? What's your problem, Odo? What's with that Gina again? Look, eh? Ah! The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Hey, we defended you and no one else would. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? Got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life could have a purpose. That's why I'm the best person to be standing there speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face, Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says on that report. Coming right up, sir. Witness testimony. Victim's movements. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. A little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled good dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the report that place too. That's it? Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what's written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicine. Goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of these black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority, without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place at this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak van Zieks, was present. That would be a very significant testimony then. Oh my, but Lord van Zieks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord van Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Damn. Very well. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Why are you so mad? Cross-examination. The victim's movements. All your detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what's told. So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Sometimes. Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Okay, that's even better. Oh. The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go give Toby his grub, that kind of thing. So, errands more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. A little search on the boss's office turned a notebook that had a load of secret stuff in it. So you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yup, it was a part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted to know that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Because if anyone at the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have me turf me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation, and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. Found it in his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So I went to hide myself when no one could find me so I could have a butcher's what was written on it. Because if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. Huh. I could get in now, though, ain't I? If it weren't for me, it would never have been found. What did that boss smuggle good dealings that day? Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yup. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at the Gentleman's Club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary, but it's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. Oh, I could too. I've got this reading gate button up now. Can I show you what I could do? Go on, what's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Pazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Yay! Apparently the smuggler's dealing was gonna happen at a ship called the Gross. That sounds familiar. The Grouse. That sounds so familiar. Oh man. What is the Grouse? Let's have a look inside. Is it this? Look, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. This to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. Is Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip? No. Perhaps the native departure might tell us something else. Oh, what is it? trouble on the third one day before. What, really? Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered? No, what was this? Has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish I would at least call you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years here, doesn't it? The papers from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Redhead Lee advertisement from Mr. Sholmes that did now. Do you remember? There was a red hairpiece in the scene, too. Is Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League, then? Well, I suppose we should see what's in... Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like. Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. Department identification number details are correct as well. There's no doubt this really is Inspector Gregson's identification. Yeah, I just went through all my evidence and I couldn't find anything about the grouse.
Hold it!
So I'll press it. The grouse? What sort of club is that? I probably should just press it first. I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kind of curious. There are not places where a foreign student like you wouldn't be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? Tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go on undercover. Could you, though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway. That's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower ranking detective. Looks like it's a big job and all, but the cop was right. So how was Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. It suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on at that club, no question. Can't say for certain, though, surely. What matters most is the witness who says to be at the place, too. Lord Van Zeeks was at the club? He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Boy, why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade there, eh? That's all I've got to work with. Jean's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? Really don't know what to make of all of this. Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. I don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh. Everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true. Then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. I mean, there are details we've yet to uncover. Exactly. clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. I'm thinking the passport. So I went through all the evidence again, and my guess is this passport, maybe, because he was supposed to travel to France.
Objection!
Damn it! Might be here.
Objection!
No! Ah! Looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. It says grouse! That's it! Man, I was looking all over for this. I knew I saw grouse somewhere. First class cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th of September. London arrival 1st of November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikadoba and Judge Chikogu came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the Sasburia. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep it in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Ryunoske? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Yeah!
Objection!
Get it! Oh my god, I probably had cut 10 minutes just going through every single piece of evidence, from right to left. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called The Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Oh, that's okay. The other side, Lord. Be more specific next time. Well, obviously where the ticket is. Oh. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon the steamship, yes. The SS Grouse. Oh my god, it's a boat!
Objection!
Objection! So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The steamship arrived at Port of Dover on 1st of November. Oh. the day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st of October, when the victim was on a clandestine mission. The steamship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel, for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim? Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, he was on board at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ryunoske Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean, you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial had been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? The courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess, this was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? Oh shit. Order. What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Oh! Barak Van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson. Hold it! What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No! It can't be! We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barak Van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. Duh. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as the agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Chikoga were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm sure we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course, no suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. Because he died? But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. Eh? What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of the secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying! Even if them burglars were got taken out, had it coming. Boss want the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. He may just be an apprentice, but if he spent any time at Scotland Yard, he must have heard the rumors. I heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it, because I never heard of him. Testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I don't. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. On the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya. Bye.